I want to dive a little deeper into two parts of that. Um, Commit to self
Mm,
and every day or consistency.
yeah.
And the reason I want you to talk a little bit more about this is because I think so often, which I'm sure you see this all the time, we get really excited and we're
Mm.
like, yes, Kari, let's do it. And then we're really
And
good.
it fizzles off.
Yeah, we're really good for a few days, a few weeks,
Yeah.
maybe even a month or two. And then the consistency.
Hmm.
So, can you touch a little bit about that as far as being committed to
Yes.
ourselves and how do we keep going after the fizzle?
Yes, yes. Oh, such a great question. So I'm a big fan of Robin Sharma, if anybody else is too. He wrote the 5 a.m. Club. And I follow some of his methodology and along with Dr. Caroline Leaf, who is a neuroscientist, both amazing. And they both share similar concepts when it comes to habit change, for example. And habit change, we can also consider like when we want to make a change with something, with the identity part, we have this process that we have to rewire the way that we're thinking. We've been doing the same thing over and over again for quite some time. Let's take drinking, for example. You didn't start off by, at 5 years old, drinking something going, oh, this is so yummy. You learn to love it over the years. You
Mhm.
learn that alcohol works in the way that it does. So with alcohol, for example, if it's something that someone doesn't want to do anymore, the first 21, 22 days of that change is hard, right? It's doing something new. You're not used to it. Your brain just naturally wants to go to the alcohol because that seems so much easier. So we have to be so intentional. And I spend a lot of time talking about intentions versus goals. Like, who cares? Goals are future based, they're out in future land. Intentions are present based. So we got to stay intentional every single day, right? That's where the everyday effort comes in, making your daily intentions. That's part of it. But then the second 21 or 23 days in that time frame, it gets hard. It gets messy, right? So now we're in a rhythm. We got this new habit going, and our brain says, you've been at this long enough. Like, you could take a day or two off. Like, it's not a big deal, right? We have the salesman in our head telling us otherwise. And this is when we got to buckle in because it feels very messy. And this is a term that Robin Sharman uses. It's messy. The last 21 to 23 days, because both of them agree 63 to 66 days is a good time to establish and make a habit automated, right?
Mhm.
Our brain likes to survive, not necessarily thrive. And our brain wants to be on autopilot. And this is what habits are. So it takes a while for it to become a new habit. And in this process, in this 3 month or so process, it will take you a few things: discipline, that everyday effort of consistency paired with your new identity and that commitment, knowing what your why is, because you're going to come back to it each and every time. And oftentimes, your why is something of deep value, a relationship, your health, your child. For you as your child, right?
Mhm.
There's so many important things that you need to consider for your why. It is of deep value. So when you incorporate all this together, it will be the fuel that you need to keep moving forward. But if you miss something out of that, most likely you're going to, give up, or you're just going to fizzle out, because you're right. We could go to a conference and be like, yes, I'm all in. And you're all excited. And 2 days later, you're like, whatever,
Yeah.
I'm over that. So it takes all of those pieces of the decide to
Yeah.
really make that long lasting